long before the modern world took shape, the planet was a very different place. When the first humans began to spread beyond Africa, they did not enter an empty planet. They stepped into landscapes already shaped and dominated by enormous animals. These were not dinosaurs, nor creatures from a distant and forgotten age. They were animals that still feel familiar to us: elephants, lions, large reptiles, but carried to dimensions far beyond anything alive today. Elephants larger than any terrestrial animal living today, lizards longer than a car, lions more massive than any living feline. For thousands of years, humans and these giants shared the same ground, often within environments we still recognize. Then, over a surprisingly short span of time, those giants began to disappear, almost everywhere humans arrived. In this video, we explore the lost world of Earth's megafauna and the brief moment in history when we truly walked among giants. Among living animals today, elephants remain the clearest representatives of this ancient legacy. The largest land animals alive today still stand as true colossi of flesh and bone. In earlier epochs, this was equally true, but carried to even greater extremes. During the last ice age, at the end of the Pleistocene epoch, there lived an elephant species of truly titanic proportions, with massive, thick skulls, enormous tusks exceeding 3.5 meters in length, and powerful trunks capable of lifting and throwing aside even large predators. Paleoloxodon nomadicus existed on a scale almost beyond comparison. Known as the Asian straight-tusked elephant, it was a genuine living titan. Individuals could reach weights of up to 13 tons and stand nearly 4.5 meters tall at the shoulder. Fossil evidence suggests that even larger individuals may have existed, making this species the largest and heaviest terrestrial mammal known to have lived. It surpassed all other elephants of its time, including the largest mammoths. Contrary to earlier assumptions, it was not closely related to modern Asian elephants. Analyses of ancient DNA indicate that its closest living relatives are African forest elephants. This immense proboscidean disappeared between 50 and 30,000 years ago, at a time when modern humans had already spread across much of Eurasia. It is therefore likely that our species encountered these prehistoric giants directly. As humans expanded across the world, they entered landscapes never before inhabited by any other human species. Reaching isolated regions often meant encountering faunas unlike anything previously known. Australia during the last ice age provides a striking example. Even today, the island continent is renowned for its extreme endemism and wildlife capable of posing serious dangers to humans. The same was true in the past. Ice Age Australia was dominated by giants unlike those found elsewhere on the planet. Among the most formidable predators of its arid landscapes were giant monitor lizards. Varanus priscus, better known as Megalania, was one of these apex hunters. Reaching lengths of up to 6 meters, it was roughly twice the size of modern Komodo dragons. Its immense bulk and powerful bite allowed it to overpower the large marsupial herbivores that roamed prehistoric Australia. One such herbivore was Diprotodon. Comparable in size to a rhinoceros, it was a giant relative of modern wombats. It wandered across open savannas in search of vegetation, shaping the landscape through its grazing. In addition to falling prey to enormous monitor lizards, it was likely hunted by the first modern humans to reach Australia. Yet among all the large marsupials encountered on the continent, none was stranger than Procoptodon. Known as the short-faced kangaroo, it dwarfed modern kangaroos, standing up to 2 meters tall. Its flattened snout and forward-facing eyes gave it an unusual appearance, but these were not its most remarkable traits. Anatomical studies of its legs and pelvis indicate that it was incapable of hopping. Instead, it walked upright, bipedal, with a posture surprisingly similar to that of a human. Remarkably, rock art appears to depict these animals, suggesting that early humans in Australia came into direct contact with these unusual giants. On other continents, human expansion brought encounters with entirely different forms of megafauna. In North America, alongside massive bison, Columbian mammoths, and heavily armored glyptodonts, there existed beavers as large as bears. Known as the giant beaver, Castoroides was not a close relative of modern beavers, having diverged from them around 20 million years ago. Its proportions reflect a lifestyle very different from that of its modern counterparts. Weighing over 100 kilograms, it inhabited wetlands across much of North America. It possessed a proportionally larger head, shorter forelimbs, powerful hind legs with broad feet, and a smaller, less flattened tail. Unlike modern beavers, it likely did not rely on wood for food, instead feeding on aquatic plants and submerging itself in water in a manner comparable to a hippopotamus. The vast grasslands and steppes of Ice Age North America were also home to formidable predators. Among them were the American lions, Panthera atrox. These enormous cats hunted bison, Arctic camels, and mammoths across open terrain. Descended from cave lions that migrated from Eurasia via the Bering Land Bridge, they adapted to the open environments and abundant megafauna of the Ice Age. Over time, they evolved into an endemic species even larger than their ancestors. Weighing up to 350 kilograms, and possibly as much as 400, they exceeded modern tigers in size. Likely surpassed in mass only by South America's Smilodon, these predators rank among the largest felids to have ever existed. Such extreme predators existed for a reason. Their prey were equally extraordinary. Giant ground sloths are among the most striking examples. During the Ice Age, North America hosted a diverse array of these unusual herbivores. Among them, Eremitherium stood apart for its sheer size. Comparable to an elephant, it could rise onto its hind legs and defend itself with enormous claws. Its size was such that confrontations with Columbian mammoths sharing the same landscapes were not impossible. Other giant sloths, including Megalonyx, were adapted to colder climates, and fossil evidence suggests that some were regularly hunted by the first humans to enter the Americas. Returning to the glacial landscapes of Eurasia, some deer reach remarkable dimensions. Megaloceros, often referred to as the giant deer, possessed antlers spanning up to 3.5 meters, making it even larger than a modern moose. Despite its size, its closest living relatives are fallow deer. Beyond mammals, isolation also produced giants among birds. On Madagascar, this process gave rise to the elephant bird, Aepyornis. Standing up to 3 meters tall and weighing at least half a ton, and possibly much more, it was the largest bird to have ever lived. Protected by isolation, these giants persisted long after the Ice Age ended. Only with the arrival of humans around 2,000 years ago did hunting, habitat destruction, and introduced species drive them toward extinction. To conclude this survey of ancient giants, we return to one final predator. Among the largest carnivorous mammals ever to walk the earth was the short-faced bear, belonging to the genus Arctodus. Despite being most closely related today to the spectacled bears of South America, Arctodus was a hypercarnivorous specialist. Its anatomy reflects this role. Robust teeth, a shortened snout, and long limbs adapted for active pursuit. In size, it surpassed even modern polar bears. When standing upright, it could reach nearly 4.5 meters in height and weigh between 600 and 800 kilograms. It was a dominant predator, capable of hunting bison, Arctic camels, and American horses. The world shaped by these giants was profoundly different from our own. As humanity spread across the planet, it briefly shared the Earth. with some of the largest and most extraordinary animals ever to exist, remnants of a deep evolutionary past, now largely gone.